A national team with 5 World Cup titles. A country revered as the home of football. A powerhouse of talent that fuels much of the world's football genius. Brazil's national team is undeniably iconic, but times have changed. After a dismal Copa America campaign and repeated World Cup exits, Brazil may now be facing one of its lowest moments in football history. Just last month, the Brazilian team concluded the first round of qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup amid a storm of criticism and doubts, not only about the results but also about their style of play. Today, we'll break down everything behind Brazil's current struggles and dive into the top 7 reasons behind this decline in performance. Join us on this journey. Brazilian talent, the best of the best football in the world. Hello fans of Brazilian football. Today, we're inviting you to explore the 7 key reasons why Brazilian football has seen such a troubling decline in recent times. Once a game filled with legendary players and dazzling achievements, Brazilian football is now living through some of its darkest days. Is it a talent shortage? Tactical missteps? Are the players' personalities a factor? All this and more, today on Brazilian Talent. Oh, and if I were you, I wouldn't miss reason number 6. Without a doubt, it's the leading cause of Brazil's lackluster performance in the World Cup qualifiers. What do you think it could be? Drop your thoughts in the comments. First, coaching changes. This World Cup cycle is only halfway through, and Brazil is already on its 3rd manager, Dorival Jr., who is already facing scrutiny. The major switch was from Fernando Diniz to Dorival Jr., 2 managers with drastically different styles, and it shows in the team's performance. Fernando Diniz managed 6 qualifiers, securing 7 points. Dorival, in comparison, earned 6 points in just 3 games in the first half of qualifiers. A better outcome? Yes. But 2 of those games were against Paraguay and Chile, both among the bottom 3 teams. Adding to the challenge is Dorival's poor Copa America record. While results have improved, the performance has suffered. Under Dorival, Brazil plays a static, uninspired game, creating only a quarter of the chances per match compared to Diniz's squad. Looking deeper, Diniz's team attempted and hit the target more often, while Dorival's squad shows stronger numbers in tackles and interceptions. In the end, we see 2 different teams, similar stats, and a troubling trajectory. Second, tactical system. Regardless of who's at the helm, Brazil faces a major issue: lack of tactical variety. The team consistently lines up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with strikingly similar features. Central midfielders lacking creativity, a midfield that struggles to set up plays, wingers focused on individual moves, and overly defensive fullbacks. Dorival's team plays with a notably passive approach, lacking aggression in pressing and showing little positional flexibility. This has led to a low number of high-quality chances created per game, as well as weak defensive pressure. Looking specifically at creativity, the only midfielder with more than 3 key passes in the qualifiers is Bruno Guimarães, with 7. Neymar, if counted as a midfielder, would have 10, but he has been out for over 7 matches. Worrying signs. Third, lack of leadership. In the previous point, we mentioned Neymar's creative influence, but his absence reveals an even deeper problem. Brazil's national team lacks leaders. Despite only playing 3 matches in the first round, Neymar led Brazil in both goals and assists. Without him, Rafinha, Rodrigo, and especially Vinicius Jr. have struggled to step up. Among them, Rafinha stands out, but with just 1 goal, 1 assist, and 3 big chances created over the entire round, and an average of 2 key passes per game. Comparatively, these numbers fall short of secondary players in the qualifiers like Jefferson Soteldo for Venezuela, Nicolas Gonzalez for Argentina, and Nico de la Cruz for Uruguay. This lack of leadership and prominence also impacted Vinicius Jr., Brazil's current star. His underwhelming performances with Brazil ultimately cost him the Ballon d'Or. Fourth, defensive issues. As previously mentioned, Brazil struggled defensively, especially in transitions during the first round of World Cup qualifiers. This passive defending is clear in the stats. Brazil averages only 5.9 interceptions and 12.5 tackles per game, the lowest in the competition for both categories. The problem is particularly noticeable among Brazil's defensive players. Of the top 5 players in tackles for Brazil, only Danilo is a defender. In interceptions, only Gabriel Magalhães averages over 1 per game. These are concerning numbers. None of Brazil's defenders rank among the top 25 players in any key defensive stat. Among midfielders, only Paquetá appears on the list, but he plays higher up as a third midfielder. It's clear that Brazil needs to rethink its defensive personnel, structure, and transition strategies. What do you think so far? Out of the 4 reasons, which do you think is the hardest to resolve? Don't forget to like the video, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel. 5th, sticking with underperforming players. The 5th reason for Brazil's struggles stems from a persistent error: the continued reliance on certain underperforming players. This was an issue under Diniz and has been especially apparent under Dorival Jr. One glaring example is Danilo. Often criticized by Brazilian media, Danilo no longer plays as a traditional right-back at Juventus. Alternatives like Borussia Dortmund's Jan Kudo and Monaco's Vanderson, both with stronger attacking profiles, seem promising but have yet to receive consistent opportunities. In defense, Marquinhos has also faced criticism. With an average of just 0.6 tackles and 0.2 interceptions per game, he ranks outside the top 80 in both categories in the qualifiers. His performance has been disappointing, and Real Madrid's Militão is currently the top choice to replace him as Brazil's vice-captain. In midfield, Dorival Jr. continues to favor defensive-minded players like André or João Gomes in the holding role. This has significantly limited the team's creativity. Douglas Luiz appears the most logical choice, except, it seems, to Dorival. Douglas's passing, shooting, and playmaking abilities could provide a vital boost for a team maintaining 66% possession. Finally, Lucas Paquetá is perhaps the most questioned player of all. Amid an FA investigation, Paquetá's recent performances have been lackluster. While he remains in the top 20 for tackles and interceptions, his creative output has been poor. Andreas Pereira, thriving at Fulham and making good use of his minutes with Brazil, is an increasingly popular option to replace him. And now we reach the most intriguing and concerning reason in our lineup. 6th, chance creation and conversion. Brazil made plenty of mistakes in the first half of World Cup qualifiers, but creating opportunities wasn't one of them. Brazil ranked 2nd in the number of chances created, trailing only Colombia with a total of 18 big chances. The problem? Brazil tops the list of teams with the most big chances missed, failing to convert 13 of those 18 opportunities. Another issue? Under Dorival Jr., the average number of big chances created per match dropped from 2.67 to just 0.67. Brazil's midfield has contributed little in this area, with only Bruno Guimarães making an impact. For now, Rodrigo is the team's main hope, leading in key passes through the first half of qualifiers. In the future, Neymar's return should add to this, as he ranks 6th in key passes among attackers despite missing the last 6 matches. 7th, absence of Neymar. Since we're talking about the star, we can't overlook the impact of Neymar's absence on Brazil's national team. Despite playing 6 fewer matches, Neymar was both the top scorer and leading assist provider in the first round of qualifiers. He also ranked 2nd in key passes and was among the top 5 for big chances created. Meanwhile, the other players expected to step up, Rafinha, Rodrigo, and Vinicius Jr., have struggled to fill the void. All 3 average over 12 lost possessions per game, a major issue that Neymar's more controlled, effective style doesn't suffer from. Thankfully, this problem may soon be resolved, as Neymar is expected to return at the start of 2026. The question is, in what form will Brazil's star return? These were the 7 main reasons we believe Brazil has been underperforming in the World Cup 2026 qualifiers. But we want to hear from you. In your opinion, what's the biggest factor behind Brazil's disappointing results? Do you think the team will turn things around in the second half of the qualifiers? Let us know in the comments. And about reason number 6, was that the key issue for you as well? Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Brazilian talent, the best of the best football in the world.